Okay, Assalamualaikum and good evening everyone. So I hope my voice is clear. Okay, thank you. And CIDL admin, am I the... Okay, so I don't need any MC from CIDL and we'll straight away start the session, right? So okay, let me first share my slide for today. So okay, anyone can see this slide?
Boleh, Doktor.
Boleh, okay. So sekejap. I can't see the chat box tu. Saya tak boleh nak tengok sekiranya saya share straight away. Ada cara tak untuk saya boleh tengok the chat box at the same time if anyone want to ask questions? Saya hide sekejap. Sekejap ya. Saya cuba buka komputer satu lagi.
Sorry, Doktor tak unmute mikrofon.
Okay, sorry. Okay, Assalamualaikum and good evening everyone. Sorry for the hiccups. Thank you CIDL office for this organised program. Kepada semua yang berbahagia, Datuk, Datin, Profesor, Doktor, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang ada di dalam sesi ini. Selamat datang. Untuk sesi CIDL yang terakhir saya kiranya ini, saya berbesar hati untuk berkongsi maklumat mengenai Makerspace atau dalam bahasa Melayunya Ruang Reka. Nama saya Siti Azma Jusoh. Saya merupakan pensyarah dan juga ketua jabatan di Jabatan Farmakologi dan Sains Hayat Fakulti Farmasi. Untuk Maker Lab UiTM ini saya telah berkhidmat menguruskan Makerspace ini dari tahun 2018, yang mana bermula dari tahun penubuhannya iaitu 2018 tersebut hasil daripada cadangan projek saya sendiri untuk manfaat warga UiTM. Ianya adalah merupakan sebenarnya projek yang terinspirasi dari Makerspace yang banyak di negara-negara maju, especially di United States, kerana pada ketika itu saya sendiri yang melihat output dan manfaat semasa saya berada di sana selama 2 tahun ketika menjalani postdoc training. Okay. Sebelum saya pergi lebih detail mengenai Makerspace, sekiranya ada pertanyaan, anda boleh terus bertanya di chat box. Saya tak ada masalah untuk reply pada bila-bila masa. So, untuk slide yang ini, saya memberikan sedikit latar belakang Makerspace di UiTM Cawangan Selangor, yang mana berlokasi di pita utama UiTM Cawangan Selangor ataupun di kampus Puncak Alam. So Makerspace ini yang sebenarnya Makerspace tersebut adalah nama common, default name for Makerspace, dan nama spesifiknya untuk yang kita ada di UiTM Puncak Alam kita namakan Maker Lab UiTM. Okey, tujuan utama kita letakkan lokasinya di pita utama adalah dengan tujuan untuk lebih visibility kepada semua warga UiTM, especially pelajar dan pensyarah. Okey, sekejap. Okey, next saya kongsikan sedikit struktur pengurusan Maker Lab di UiTM. Berikut di mana yang boleh dinampak dengan diagram ini, Maker Lab UiTM adalah di bawah directly under Rector Office, under UCS Management, yang mana khas diletakkan sekarang ini di bawah pengurusan Timbalan Rektor Bahagian Penyelidikan dan Inovasi, dan dengan kerjasama erat pihak PITA yang memberikan ruang dan juga sokongan kepada Maker Lab. Seterusnya, selain daripada CIDL Office yang fokusnya ke arah teaching and learning, pihak ICAN juga acknowledge Maker Lab sebagai salah satu unit yang menyokong STEM di peringkat UiTM. Dan di samping itu, Maker Lab juga bekerjasama dengan pelbagai rakan industri yang terlibat, terutamanya yang rakan industri yang mana mempunyai teknologi di Maker Lab sendiri, terutamanya 3D printing. So seterusnya bidang-bidang utama yang digerakkan di Maker Lab adalah 3D printing, 3D design, computer teknologi, STEM dan juga penggunaan teknologi di dalam bidang seni reka. Warga UiTM yang paling banyak menggunakan Maker Lab sebenarnya adalah pelajar bachelor, diikuti oleh staf dari pelbagai perkhidmatan. Kebanyakan pensyarah yang menggunakan Maker Lab sebagai ruang untuk projek dan juga paling banyak dalam STEM activity lah. Namun masih ramai lagi pensyarah yang tidak tahu pun sebenarnya kewujudan Makerspace dan apa sebenarnya aktiviti-aktiviti di Makerspace dan manfaat yang boleh diguna sama oleh pensyarah tersebut. Misi Maker Lab adalah sebenarnya selari dengan strategic planning UiTM 2025. Oleh itu kami mengharapkan lebih ramai pensyarah akan datang melawan dan menggunakan Maker Lab untuk pendidikan, inovasi, pengajaran dan pelbagai lagi aktiviti berkaitan. Seterusnya berikut saya perkenalkan sendirilah sedikitlah ahli-ahli terkini di pensyarah yang menjadi ahli di Maker Lab. Anda juga boleh lihat senarai di laman web CIDL. Saya sendiri sebagai koordinator sejak dari tahun 2018. Yang kedua adalah Mr. Fukan, Dr. Nurul Akmal dan Dr. Muhammad Hisham. Ketiga-tiganya adalah daripada Faculty of Education di dalam bidang chemistry, ada yang mathematics dan juga Dr. Hisham daripada fizik, yang mana banyak ataupun aktif dalam mengimplementasikan pendidikan STEM. Okay. Saya perkenalkan juga ataupun kongsikan juga berikut adalah alumni pensyarah yang pernah menjadi ahli di Maker Lab daripada pelbagai fakulti, daripada Faculty of Information Management, Art and Design dan juga Computer Science. So mungkin ada di antara mereka yang contohnya Art and Design mempunyai makerspace mereka sendiri, so mereka tidak lagi aktif di makerspace di Maker Lab, dan ada yang telah retired contohnya. Okay, so berikut adalah senarai teknologi partners atau industri partners dan domain expert yang selama ini bekerjasama dengan Maker Lab kita. Kebanyakannya daripada bidang 3D printing, engineering, robotics, ada juga daripada bidang virtual reality, makerspace di Perpustakaan Awam Selangor yang bekerjasama untuk membina mereka makerspace mereka sendiri di PIPAS utama di Shah Alam. Kita juga bekerjasama erat dengan CG IoT, tim Dr. Zul. Kalau ada yang telah mendengar semalam rasanya perkongsian daripada CG IoT dalam STEM, pendidikan STEM juga, dan ada beberapa lagi syarikat yang ada MOU dan ada yang kita anggapkan sebagai smart partnership. So apa sebelum saya pergi lebih jauh, saya share sikitlah apakah sebenarnya makerspace ni. Kalau dalam bahasa Melayu, so here is in English, it's actually basically a place to do something, to work together with the communities to create hands-on project. So people, community in the makerspace have the same core values. So the team member inspire making, for example, we do collaborative learning, sharing. There should be openness and inclusivity to orang kata pelbagai background of the ahli community, dan kita cuba reducekan complicate teknologi tersebut, what we call it democratized technology. So kalau dalam bahasa Melayunya secara asasnya ia adalah satu tempat komuniti lah yang menyediakan kemudahan, peralatan untuk membolehkan orang ramai ataupun komuniti tersebut untuk mereka mencipta, belajar melalui projek-projek hands-on. So selalunya makerspace dilengkapi dengan pelbagai facilities. Contohnya 3D printing, laser cutters, elektronik, perkakas elektronik seperti Arduino, woodwork, wood machine dan pelbagai lagi yang mana bergantung dengan kesesuaian komuniti tersebut. So ciri-ciri di makerspace tersebut selalunya kenapa ramai yang berminat, kerana makerspace tersebutlah adalah tempat yang memberi akses kepada high-tech equipment, technologies, so where it give opportunity ataupun peluang kepada orang ramai untuk menggunakan peralatan canggih yang mungkin sukar dimiliki ataupun mahal secara bersendirian. Yang ciri yang kedua ialah tempat tersebut sepatutnya menjadi kolaborasi dan perkongsian ilmu yang mana the ahli or team member learn from each other and work together in project that they are interested in. The third criteria of makerspace is supposed to be the place that hands-on ataupun practical, yang mana fokusnya adalah kepada learning by doing. Dia bukan jenis yang download guna, beli guna. So I suppose that the people who active in makerspace should do by doing. And the last but not least is very important, it has to be open to everybody, so especially the community too. So contohnya sekiranya makerspace tu dibina di library awam, makerspace tersebut sepatutnya boleh perkhidmatan tersebut atau kebanyakan pelbagai lapisan masyarakat ataupun semuanya boleh menggunakan makerspace tersebut. Sekiranya makerspace tu dibuat khas untuk fakulti tertentu, so we expect that makerspace is open to all staff, pensyarah, pelajar di dalam fakulti tersebut. So sekiranya sekarang ni makerspace yang kita ada di UCS, walaupun sebenarnya kita kata makerspace UiTM yang berada di UiTM Puncak Alam, dan namun kita buka sebenarnya kepada semua warga UiTM setakat ni, kerana I think this is the only satu-satunya makerspace yang open the facilities to anyone who want to use it. Because this is not, we have to bear in mind that makerspace is not a research lab. So for that reason, that's why we put it in the library in the first place. So we can maybe after when I provide tell a story or provide information about makerspace, later when you go to the public library, you boleh tengok dekat museum pun ada, dekat Petronas pun saya rasa ada Petronas yang di KLCC tersebut, di Pusat Sains Negara, they're supposed to have their own makerspace. But of course you can see more when you go to overseas, because for example when I was in the US, almost all the library, all those small library in the US ataupun library daerah juga mempunyai makerspace. So you can see in school especially, they make it makerspace as a club, or they put the makerspace in the library as well. So there are many type of makerspace as well. Ada yang membership based. Kalau yang membership based ni, maybe some community, several people rent a house or space, so they allow only community the members, but most of the makerspace in negara-negara majulah selalunya percuma ataupun tidak perlu dibayar, dan sehinggakan kalau di US, homeless people juga boleh masuk untuk menggunakan teknologi di sana. Contohnya saya sendiri pernah melihat di mana mesin jahit digunakan oleh homeless people untuk menjahit pakaian mereka kerana mereka tidak ada akses lain. So to that level, sometimes the makerspace provide service to the community. So okay, if you have any questions, I have no problem to answer. So I will move on to the next one. So ini sebenarnya senarai makerspace di Universiti Awam, the government university. There are makerspace in the private university, such as Sunway, Tellers, but I don't know whether mereka memberi perkhidmatan percuma kepada orang ramai ataupun hanya khas kepada komuniti tersebut. But you can check, try to search in other university if they have, because makerspace supposed to be open, like I said. So in our maker lab here as well, we receive many visitors and requests to collaborate on many projects from other university if that university don't have their own makerspace. Okay, so this is just a kind of myth of makerspace. Ramai yang takut, ramai yang tak masuk disebabkan this kind of thinking. Mungkin satunya mereka ingat makerspace ni macam STEM lab. Jadi budak sekolah je, pelajar sekolah je perlu belajar STEM. So makerspace bukan STEM lab, dia lebih tinggi daripada STEM lab, tapi dia boleh dijadikan salah satu, STEM lab tu boleh dijadikan salah satu aktiviti di makerspace. Okay, yang kedua, makerspace ni kalau di sekolah, ibu parents always think is only for science student, talented student. So itu juga salah kerana bila perkataan makerspace tu sendiri dah di lower down to make sure that everybody is inclusively ataupun boleh terlibat di makerspace tersebut. And makerspace, some people say makerspace only focus on science and technology. That's also not true, because in most of the makerspace, for example, if you can see most of the Hollywood movies, when they are making film which is not science, but they use technology and science to create many things that is also originated from makerspace. So in our makerspace as well, I will show you later some of the projects which is in the beginning of the past years, that we have many students from art and design create very great products where they learn that we combine arts and science using the technology to create innovative products. And number 4 is this is about people who want to create makerspace. They think makerspace is only about facilities. You put the facilities and it will it will just running by itself. So of course it's not. When you have a makerspace, we need to plan, like you have a company like a startup, right? It's just that it's not making money. We have to plan for the activities to make it sustain throughout many years. And of course you need budget in order to that. We need to plan. Okay, number 5 is many things just program is unstructured. Unstructured ni macam contohnya buat workshop and done kat situ je, macam ala-ala hantar anak pergi science project. So it's not like that. Makerspace supposed to build talent, so to most of the makerspace in the world, for example, in MIT itself, I think MIT have more than 100 makerspace in one university, because MIT is emphasizing more on hands-on project, because is focusing on engineering student. So it's very structured program. So the community is there, so they have their own module, they have activities to build the product, especially they're producing prototypes, so that prototype they can bring the prototype to the market. So it's not just one go, come and go. It's not like that. Okay, so I hope now you can understand what is about makerspace. So throughout my talk, you can try to put yourself how actually you can benefit from our makerspace. Okay, so like I said, makerspace had to be tailored to the community as well. So if it in the public library, the modules should be tailored to all type of communities, age, old people, young people. But when the makerspace is created in a specific community, like for example in the university, in higher level educations, so we are focusing more on higher level thinking, product design. But if it created in kindergarten, so of course you will your objective is different. For example, you might be just want to put interest into kids to learn to make something, so it can be different. So in UITM, what we are doing is inspired by MIT Lab, of course, not only on we are not only doing 3D printing, but we also try to focus on the product development. If some people UITM members yang berminat untuk membuat produk, tak kira lah staff ke, pelajar ke, pencarah ke, so we can cater them. At the same time, we also focus on contributing to the community. For that reason, we connect with ICAM to adakan pameran exhibition about STEM, how student in high school can connect with STEM. Then we hope that they can inspire those students to take science subject. And at the same time, with the business, we have partners, industry partners, so that the project from the student can be promoted to the market. Okay, at the same time, of course, when we have makerspace in the university or in the faculty, we need to align with our education system, Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia. We should align with as well with the our university strategic planning, and at the same time, we also can add the mission to align with the SDG. You know, so for our Maker Lab, we try to align our activities to SDG number 4, which is quality of education, gender equality, number 10, reduce inequalities, and number 17, we have partnership to achieve the goals. Okay. So our program also focusing on the talent development, local especially, and market demand skill, improve quality of education. This is actually aligned with all the ITM, SDG, as well as the core values of the makerspace. So research and innovation, entrepreneurship, graduate employability, industry academia partnership, and also technology awareness, which is what you can see here is actually tailored to our UITM strategic planning. So here are the current facilities and equipment that we have. Some of it is already is broken, but we are doing some maintenance if we have some budget. But of course, right now for the 3D printing, we have several. We have one of the best 3D printing in the market, which is Ultimaker 3, S3, Ultimaker 2. We also have several Raspberry Pi, Arduino, so that if the students, if your student want to use it, they can't afford to buy, they can come and try and learn in our Maker Lab. We have IMAX for the use of design, so it will be connected to it is connected to the 3D printing, and we also have some drone where we teach coding for undergrad students who especially intern to give exposure how to write code and connect with some IoT device such as Arduino, which is in drone, in several other devices. So let me share with you what activities that we have done. So hopefully you can see where you can put yourself, whether you want to send your student, or maybe you want to send, you want to promote to your student to do interns in our place. So in the first place, when we start Makerspace, we start with internship or talent development, because at that time we know that although we did several sharing session how to use the Makerspace, there are not many lecturers who come in, so we start with building talent. So these students, these intern, I think till now is more than 100 intern that completed training in Maker Lab. So this is the data till 2022. I don't have the recent data, but of course every year we have several intern, 3 to 5 intern at one time in our Maker Lab. So these intern coming from several backgrounds. It's not only from engineering, but of course we rarely accept people from engineering, because this is not the intensive training place for them. So we are more to other background of students. So if engineering student want to use for their final year project, should be no problem. But for internship, usually they're coming from different background. Like for example, I think most of the students coming from art and design and computer science. So where we teach basic coding, use the Arduino with the programming, and for the art and design, they use design, 3D design and 3D printing to implement their art product. And other than that, it's also coming from applied science student as well as social science students. Okay. So this is some modules for the internship program. So the general module that we teach during the internship, of course, because we have many 3D printers, we teach 3D modeling or 3D design and intensively working with 3D printers. They will go through product design, and then, for example, and process prototyping of developing a product. If they are, so all the students also have to learn web design, basic web design. So UI, UX, how to using basic, because right now web design is not basically is to present your product, to present. It's not really intensive on the coding. We teach them content development and other soft skill like design thinking, communication, leadership, because we bring them to join the exhibition with the community, so they learn how to to assist during the workshop, for example. And they also personalized module. If they're coming from art student, we don't ask them to learn programming, but if they are interested, they are required, we should be no problem, because at the same time there are students from computer science that usually also having intern at the same time with other students. So so there are also specialized module like what I stated here. So this is some of our interns from art and design, for example, and one is from computer science, and one is from mathematics. So they some of it benefit a lot from our program. So what they have learned here, so we do the survey how they actually benefit from our program, and some of them also become entrepreneurs other than focusing on the computer science professionals. So now maybe this section, teaching and learning, is very much related to the lecturers. So with the facilities that we have, lecturer comes to our place, for example, how to use the virtual reality, for example, in for example, they need content from the VR to have more engaging. So we right now our VR is not that I think it's broken, but I think CIDL has more units. So but we can also provide some, how to say, knowledge, because we have experience working with industry partners. And then I think PITA also, our library also will also has some VR, so they can also come and ask if they want to ask how to actually connect their teaching content with VR, for example. And 3D printing, I think, I don't know how it's much related to you. In our case, for example, in faculty education, where I will show later some of the case studies, how they use 3D printing to develop STEM modules, 3D modeling, for example, in the game design. Faculty of Art and Design also have a Bachelor in Game Design. So the student also benefit when we teach them how to do basic modeling during their internship duration. So this is one of the case study. I think we run this, we are collaborating with Faculty of Education. One of the project called SME 453, Integrated STEM Education. They mostly more than 200 or like 100 plus to 200 students per batch every semester will use Michael Lab for their project. So in this course as well, CG, IoT also involved. So they learn IoT and at the same time 3D printing. And once they combine these two skills or technology, they will create a project. So for example, you can see this as project. I also has a video. I might share with you this video, I think. So where's the video? Wait. Okay, I might share the video with you later. I don't know where I can find the video to show you. So for example, this the picture below showing that with several, I think they have 4 times classes lectures with IoT and 4-time lecture and training for the 3D printing. They managed to create a very nice smart IoT project where the student learn how to design a building. So they add the building here, connect with sensor, put some IoT code, and they can present. So we hope this kind of student, for example, for Faculty of Education, they are going to become teachers with, in Malaysia, education system, STEM right now is very much important, so that these student that will become the lecturer will teach their student. So with the hands-on that they have, it's not only theoretical that they can talk, but because they have going through this hands-on experience, so we believe that they can teach, they can provide better knowledge and skill to their student. So this is another project with Faculty of Education. Every semester we have different group of students. For example, in 2023, there's a physics student come to create a physics module. So I have designed a project. So every semester that we are going because in Malaysia there's not many makerspace, active makerspace involved in STEM directly or having how to say STEM modules that related with hands-on activity, especially in 3D printing. So we work with the student, that group of students, to have physics activities related to 3D printing. So we hope this book can be used by the teachers to engage more with their student, your high school student, for example. Then in 2024, so the picture here is showing the printed modules, but not yet published, but still under copyright of IUITM. Right now we are in the middle of managing our publishing, talking with the publishers to publish these books so that it will benefit other educators, especially school teachers. We have this year we have group of students from Faculty Education from chemistry. So we are working on that chemistry module this year, and in the development we have already 3D printing modules for basic coding and also maths. Okay, this is some of example what we are doing, how we collaborate with other lecturers, and how they use our makerspace to do their project. So this is just other projects, some of the project like FIP student from art and design creating some multimedia project with 3D printing, and the middle picture showing one of the lecturers from Faculty of Medicine created anatomy models from heart that have problems, so they use as a teaching tool. And then so we also have teaching to 3D printed teaching tool to working with biology as well. For example, the last picture shows the HIV virus model for the Faculty of Pharmacy student. So that's all for the teaching and learning. And then in research and innovation, like I said, we don't have many lecturers came to our Maker Lab. Most of the time they are staff, kaki tangan sokongan. Contohnya, but we have one lecturer from Faculty of Music have a patent filing. This is like in the beginning of our Maker Lab, Penubuhan Maker Lab 2019, where he proposed a design of 3D printed rebab and just got approved filing last year, 2034. That is one lecture, but other than that, for KIK especially, staff from Shah Alam, this is the first the first KIK that came, KIK group that came to Maker Lab in 2019, and they won the juara keseluruhan, the Gold Award in 2019, where they create, I think there's a device where we recreate the metal using 3D printed materials. And then last year, 2024, two groups from staff as well, from HASA, one is from HASA, one is from dentistry. They dekat peringkat zon tengah, in peringkat zon tengah tu, peringkat Selangor, I think, they got number 3 and number 4, but when they won at zon tengah, dia orang pergi ke peringkat tertinggi, the peringkat keseluruhan, and alhamdulillah they one of the group got second, the HASA group, and the third one Faculty of Dentistry, the kumpulan Setaring, got the third one. So both of these group came to MechaLab to create devices or their product which is using 3D printing technology. So we consult them, so we allow them to do the prototyping using our facilities. So then we make sure that the product have the prototyping up to the standard that they can really function or useful for their work, because it's in KIK. So I think that's the recent one, how we contribute to Warga UiTM. So I think that's all that's related to the staff or to Warga UiTM. But other than that, there is also an opportunity. If you want to build another makerspace in your place, you also can contact us. We have experience, like you come to us, we show you what's the budget, but you have to put in mind, like I said, it's not only the makerspace. You have to be ready with your team member, what module actually you want to contribute or to share with your community. For example, this is makerspace. If you are staying in Shah Alam, please visit that place. So the makerspace in Perbadanan Perpustakaan Awam Selangor, which is the headquarters of the library under the state of Selangor, in Shah Alam. So you can see there makerspace that we collaborating, consult them how to create the right makerspace for the community. And we also have experience of using our makerspace for entrepreneurship. So this is student project, and we got funding by the KPT, the Ministry of Education, that collaborate with University Malaysia Kelantan. So we create incubators, but especially for digital entrepreneurs, where our student that we train for the 3D printing, digital like photography, or basically it's all digital stuff, to give them a place, a platform for them to be in makerspace and promote their product. So other than that, this is the final part. I think is the community, where we also contribute to the community. So this one is, for example, students from SMK Puncak Alam want to create a product untuk orang alat bantu mengajar for autistic student or ADHD, I think, at that time. So we consult them how to, because they create using metal, is not really friendly. So we teach them how to create using 3D design and then 3D printed, so they can scale up, so they can create more. So this is also last year, and that school student by a team of from SMK Puncak Alam got a gold award in that's in our UiTM program. We also have STEM exhibition. This is under the ICANN. We support ICANN by joining many exhibition every year to promote UiTM, what we have UiTM, especially MechaLab. Of course, we're promoting 3D printing, makerspace, and all those technology. And we also bring our intern, Faculty of Education students to also be part of the committee, teach the students, so because we would like to empower our own students to be with the community and confidently, because later they will work with the public. Then other than that, we did of course visit from school to our place. We also have workshop yearly. But right now, I think this year we don't have yet any workshop organized by my Maker Lab. We have sharing session, and before this, during the COVID-19, we did many CSR to 3D printed some of the stuff required for during that COVID-19. So last but not least, inspired by globally renowned university UITM, which is this year, we also have been recognized internationally by International Fab Lab Network. Fab Lab is another level of makerspace actually. It's actually originated in MIT. So many Fab Lab or makerspace in the world connected with the MIT module, SDG, to promote doing this hands-on and the core value of makerspace. So if you go to International Fab Lab Network, the website, UITM Maker Lab is listed among those 2,000 in the world, and then in Malaysia, I think there are 6 right now. And if you can see, we are among the 4 that established SDG under their network. So with all that, I think that's all the content for the makerspace. So if you have any questions, you can ask at the chat box, or you can straight away ask at the. You can just voice out during in this session. So as I stated here, for educators or for the student, you can always ask us or CIDL about the makerspace. With all that, I would like to thank you for everyone for your time and support. Ada soalan tak?
Assalamualaikum. Dengar ke saya nak tanya? Saya Fatmawati daripada Fakulti Perubatan. Nak tanyalah, kalau macam kita orang ada program yang untuk just buat guna 3D printer tu, boleh ke kita orang datang kat situ? Macam mana prosedur dia nak apply, ada borang ke apa benda? Just let's say satu benda je yang kita orang nak print, maybe untuk macam orang kata replika machine untuk macam kita orang nak letak dekat lab ke macam tu. Boleh ke macam mana?
Tak ada masalah. Contohnya kalau sekadar nak melawat tu, because di dalam pita kan, jadi masuk je ke dalam tu untuk tengok apa yang ada dalam tu. Tapi kalau untuk print tu, kita kena tahu jugalah nak print apa, sebab kebanyakan yang datang nak print ramai bagi file yang salah. Contohnya ada yang datang daripada background arts, dia ramai yang ingat semua boleh print sebagai 3D, dan ada juga yang datang tak ada file pun contohnya. Jadi kita tak tahu kita nak print apa, because 3D printed is like kalau kita pergi ke print expert, at least you bring file untuk you print kan. So itu another level. So another level that they have the file, but that file doesn't suit with the 3D printing, or the format tu dia tak pandai nak tukar lagi. So usually I have to check first. So you can email the Makerlab UITM@gmail. So kita boleh you terus contact je, cakap you nak print, and then kita akan prosedur dia, kita akan check dulu. Sebab kalau benda tu okay, kalau everything is okay, dan kita kata okay, you boleh datang guna, dan kalau bila kita check tu mungkin you nak print tu sampai berkilo-kilo, we don't have that budget as well. So kita akan suggest you, mungkin you boleh beli the material and bring the material to Makerlab, sebab you tak ada 3D printer, and we help you to print for free, something like that. So
Okay, so maknanya I boleh minta advice by through email first, and then you boleh check dulu I punya file okay ke tak okay. And then baru I boleh datang kan. Maksudnya datang tu dah boleh terus print lah maksudnya.
Tu lah cakap, kalau sekiranya kita check benda yang you nak print tu besar sangat berkilo-kilo, we don't have budget. Right now we don't have budget, so kita akan cakap you boleh beli dekat Shopee RM50 je.
Okay.
apa ni plastik tu dan bawa je kat
Ah.
sini dan print. That's what the KIK group did, the oldest KIK group, because dia nak print prototype bukan sekali print terus jadi hari ni.
I
Sometimes you print
see.
10 kali, you balik, you try lagi, then it's because it's a prototype. Then you need your own material today. But material tak mahal pun, selalunya sekilo lebih tu dalam 60-70, so you boleh guna banyak lah, selalunya tak habis.
Okay, faham. Thank you so much.
Okay. Ada soalan lagi? Kalau tak ada soalan, kita boleh terus.
Assalamualaikum doktor, sorry.
Waalaikumsalam, boleh.
Sorry, saya join lambat sikit tadi. Doktor, I just want to know, your medical lab ni, the location kat mana dok?
Dalam pita utama UiTM Puncak Alam, campus. Puncak Alam.
Oh, okay. Alright,
dalam pita je.
Dalam library lah ya?
Dalam pita library je.
I see. Okay, alright. Thanks, Doc.
Okay. Can you tell us the material name and 3D model format used by MicroLab? Okay, Dr. Muhammad Daniel Ismail. Material tu banyak tapi kita suggest beli yang paling common dulu, paling biasa, namanya PLA. Kalau you pergi Shopee, you guna keyword 3D printing, PLA. PLA ni bahan yang antara paling common dan paling murah lah. Dan dia paling senang nak print, tak banyak sogeng sangat. PLA tu maksudnya polylactic acid, it kind of biodegradable. Itulah kalau tanya apa nama material, PLA je, you tulis dekat Shopee ke, dekat I don't know ada jual ke tak dekat TikTok, tapi Shopee biasalah. So if you jangan beli yang murah sangat yang macam 40, because but you need the size as well. That's why I said you need to ask us first before you buy, because 3D printer juga ada dua jenis dalam dunia ni. Dia menggunakan material yang size berbeza. So ada dua size. Satu size untuk Ultimaker 3D printer kita guna yang lebih besar, tapi kalau 3D printer yang biasa, yang 3D printer daripada China tu selalunya jadi yang lebih murah. Dan format pula you boleh guna pelbagai jenis software, tetapi daripada software tu you export je as STL. .stl. Okay, kalau you guna the best is you guna Fusion 360, bawah Autodesk Fusion 360 adalah syarikat yang sama dengan Autodesk yang selalu digunakan oleh architecture. Atau kalau you daripada engineering, selalunya you guna Blender, you guna pelbagai lagi lah jenis software di engineering. Kalau Blender selalunya computer science ataupun arts people selalu guna, tapi selalunya software 3D ni dia boleh export as STL. Okay, jelas Itu untuk 3D printing. Ada soalan lagi? Okay, kalau tak ada, CIDL admin bolehlah kita tutup majlis kan? Seborang kehadiran dah ada, jangan lupa untuk isikan kehadiran. Sekiranya ada apa-apa soalan, nak tanya pasal 3D printing, nak datang visit MicroLab, nak datang consultation untuk KIK, untuk IDEX for example, bolehlah email kepada microLab@uitm@gmail.com ataupun saya sendiri, search je kalau you staff UiTM, cari je Siti Azma tu, ya akan appear dekat email dan boleh tanya je straight away. Tak ada masalah. Okay, with all that, thank you again everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay. Terima kasih Doktor.
Sama.